Well, welcome back, everybody. We're here for the beginning of another SCAR Cup Series season. We're here at Daytona Beach, Florida for the Bud Light Platinum Clash. The format for tonight, the field is going to be set by a random draw. And then we're going to invert that field after the first 10 laps. And then we'll have 10 laps to take us to the end. That said, caution laps do not count. So I'd imagine we're going to have some yellows here tonight. So there's going to be some strategy played, I'm sure. We've got a real short practice here before the race gets underway. I'm hoping we're going to have my tag team partner up here in the booth tonight, Eric Dotson, joining us. I believe he is in the broadcast room right now. Let's see if I can make sure that's active.
Got me, Steve?
Eric Dotson, welcome to the HBR booth. Glad you could join us.
Absolutely, can't wait to get this season started. Got a new adventure in front of us with me doing the booth here on Tuesday night, so I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be exciting, that's for sure. Tonight, for one, is going to be awfully exciting. We got 20 laps at the Daytona Legacy layout. Things will be a little different. This track is pretty bumpy compared to the current modern layout. Have you run this at all, Eric, in this car? At least at the old layout? Maybe we lost Eric again.
I have not. Have you?
Not in the next gen. I've run it in the 87 cars, and it's a handful, but see what kind of challenges it presents.
Yeah, I know talking to a few drivers, they were talking about it being bumpy, and actually said the high line could be the way to go tonight.
Yeah, it's really going to force everybody to really push and work together to try and get a run to make passes, which I think is going to make for some real exciting, well, let's just put it bluntly, there's going to be wrecks tonight, that's for sure. Now just going back again to the race format for tonight, the field, the qualifying order, there is no qualifying, it will be set by random draw. Field will invert after the first 10 laps, and then we have a 10-lap shootout to the finish. Caution laps do not count. Roughly 5 minutes left here in the practice session, and we'll get right into the race. Stay tuned after the race because we do have Daytona 250 qualifying coming up as well. That will be brought to you in full. Typically that's done all at once. I think we're going to do a single car run here to see everybody make their attempt at pole position for the Daytona 250 coming up next week. All right. Well, let's get to it. Practice session for the Clash has ended. It's time to get down to business. No points, just money. I believe the winner of each segment gets a payout. It's not huge, but it's something. Not just racing for trophies tonight.
We'll see if they're a little bit different strategy when it comes to the money and not the points. I think guys may be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, which is scary because you got these next-gen cars, which everybody's still trying to get a handle on as far as aerodynamic package and drafting and everything else. But the curveball is, again, we're running Daytona Legacy. So this is like 2007, 2008. This is pre-repave. So real bumpy, different line almost. I mean, these guys are going to be running the high line a lot instead of down low like you're used to seeing. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, talking to some of the drivers, like I said earlier, I mean, they were talking about how the high side was the way to go.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you can only go so high. You got to find room to get around, so.
So do we know the number of quick repairs that these guys have in this race?
I have not seen any details on that. I don't believe they have a quick repair. It's only 20 laps, so it's bring me the steering wheel or bring me the trophy. Looks like we've only got 11, maybe 10 guys in this session. Maybe just 9. Carson Conway chiming in the chat. We do have one fast repair. Unfortunately, Carson was not able to make it home in time to get into the session, so he's certainly watching. We appreciate it, Carson. We're going to miss you, but thanks for the update.
So this is the first year Scar's going to do a team championship, so I don't think it's going to work out too good this time. I think everybody's going to go for the money instead of the champion or the team championship.
Yeah, I mean, you got Brian Rose and David Bradford with HBR. I mean, they're going to try and hook up and work together, but again, it's the last lap for sure. There's no such thing as teammates, especially when there's money on the line.
Yeah, Dave is actually new to HBR. He came over from David Bradford Racing, I guess.
Yeah, David Bradford coming on is going to be a huge help to HBR, but never mind that. Green flag is out here in the Bud Light Platinum Clash. Mark Truxell, I always mess it up, got to start P1 on this event, so again, no qualifying, all random draw. Cody Harger working that outside high line.
Got some new pretty paint schemes out here for this season.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that did some work in the off-season on the paints. Good to see. Keep things fresh. Cody Harger still up front, though, in that familiar-looking gold and black Plasmine Technologies Toyota. Bright sunny day here in Daytona Beach. 9 laps to go. It clicks off fast. You don't have much to start with. Got to make it happen in a hurry. Again, these guys will get a payout after 10 laps, and then we're going to invert and do it again.
It looks like so far that high side's been the way to go. I know Alan Freeze went down to the bottom to try to get around Cody, and just that low line's not working.
Well, speaking of low line, Will Hewitt making a move for the lead on the low side. Let's see if he can pull it off. I don't think he's got the 66 clear, but Brian Rose in the 89 might give him some help here. Nope, doesn't have a chance to get to him. He's stuck in the middle. Hopefully that's not the kiss of death for the 89. It certainly seems to be for the 33. Will Hewitt dropping back. Oh, trouble with Brian Rose and Bobby Hamilton Jr. just coming out of the tri-oval to make contact. No yellow. And we do get the yellow. So caution is out here in the Bud Light Platinum Clash. Again, keep in mind, caution laps do not count. So every lap that we've advertised is going to be a green flag lap. So we got going a little late here. I know it's only a couple laps in, but who's your pick tonight?
I'm going to take David Bradford. I think he's going to get a win in his first race with HBR.
Okay. Going out on a limb, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go with Thomas McMullen in that number 02 Murder Creek Distillers machine. Just because I'm thirsty.
Hey, Thomas is always a good pick, no matter where you go.
Absolutely. Let's try and take a look here if we can see what happened with Brian Rose and Bobby Jr. here. It comes in way late, so let's see if we can do a rewind.
It looks like Brian just got up into Bobby Jr. Probably didn't know he had that good of a run on him.
Let's see the angle from the blimp. We'll take a peek there. Yeah, Bobby snuck up on him on the outside. I don't know if he was trying to side draft the 89 just a little bit to drop him back, but at the same time, Brian did definitely come up into Bobby. It is what it is. We got the fast repairs. Looks like they may have to take him here, but maybe not. Maybe we see what kind of damage he's got, how long it's going to take to fix, because we only got 8 laps to the stage. Field gets the invert, so maybe he's not worried about it. We'll see what happens.
I think if they use their quick repairs, they'll definitely come out and be a lot more conservative in order to win, the second stage, the final stage of this race.
Well, that's just it. If they end up coming out after burning a fast repair in this stage, they're going to restart at the back of the pack. And if we have an invert after 10 laps, that's going to put them right up front.
I think that's what I would do if I was out there.
Yeah,
especially not having my quick repair.
Yeah, you're no slouch on these super speedways yourself. It's unfortunate not out there tonight, but appreciate you being up here with us, that's for sure.
I had to take a season off here. Super speedways was the only thing I could win and compete at, so maybe in the booth here I can learn from some of these guys that, these guys are great at what they do, and come back maybe in a season or two and be able to compete.
Yeah, you're our super speedway guy. Vincent Short's pretty good as well. He's usually the front row guy for qualifying. I excel in the road courses, and we got a pretty good mix on HBR as far as talent is concerned, as far as what we're good at. David's pretty much good at everything, but you can always learn.
Yeah, and that's the thing that if you're watching this and don't have iRacing for these tracks, even the super speedways, it takes so much time and practice in order to be good. This ain't PlayStation 4 where you can just jump on it and go and be competitive. This it takes a lot of time and effort to get good at this, and these guys put it in.
It really is an excellent point. When I first got iRacing about maybe a year and a half ago, I bought a computer, I bought a wheel, I bought pedals. I'd never done it before. I'd done all the the console games and things like that, but the first week I had it, I was like, I think I made a mistake. I hated it. It was terrible. I didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, I'm no good. I can't even make a lap. But you put the time in, like you were saying, you get better. It becomes a lot of fun, but it definitely takes time, effort, and practice to be good at it.
I agree 100%. I was the same way when I first started. I couldn't make a lap in a street stock, and it just takes so much practice. And you can tell, the guys who have the experience too, of running these seasons. Nobody can just jump in here and be competitive from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, you got guys like David Bradford. He's been at this 10 years. I mean, Bobby Hamilton Jr., I don't know how long he's been doing iRacing, but kind of a no-brainer. He came from the real racing world. He's driven these things in real life. So some of that does transfer over, at least as far as the visual perspective goes. You can't really get that seat-of-the-pants feel in iRacing, but definitely varying talents across the board, but the competitive level has really gotten better across the board with all drivers in SCAR. It's just really become a real tight group.
Yeah, I think everybody pushes everybody else to be better and to go to that next level in this league.
Well, here we go. 8 laps to go. Pace car's ducking into the pit lane here. We're going green on the leader. Everybody's in the throttle. Good jump for first and second place. Right at the line, it's Thomas McMullen. Cody Harger second, Will Hewitt and David Bradford side by side, third and fourth.
Looks like that low line may get a run this time.
You know, with these 9 cars, it's not like we have a huge pack as far as the draft is concerned. If they can get organized, they might be able to make that bottom line work. Anna Garza checking in. Get it, boys. Hashtag the hateful chicken. Thanks for checking in, Anna. Still up front, Thomas McMullen leads, and David Bradford looking to the high side. He's got some help in the form of the 66 of Cody Harger, Will Hewitt, and Alan DeFries. It's a pretty good freight train on the outside. Pushing Bradford to the lead. 6 laps to go. Just like a rock, dropping to the back of the pack.
I thought David was going to be left out to hang there for a minute.
Well, I mean, you see what happens if you don't have help. I mean, Thomas McMullen doesn't have any help other than really the 54 Justin Napier. But they drop right to the back of that group.
Yeah, this is so much different, you know, than what we're normally used to. Is, you know, everybody wants to be on that low side. And you can tell everybody just wants to be up high right now.
It's interesting. I mean, it does seem like the low line can work. It just, you really need to get guys organized to do it. High side's got the advantage, but it's not impossible to make moves. You see David Bradford looking underneath the 66, but he does not have help either.
Here comes his HPR teammate.
Yep, Brian Rose does. Wow, look at the run Brian got, just tucking in behind the 46, right there. I'll tell you this. Go ahead, Eric.
I don't know if these 2's going to be able to compete with these 4, though.
I will say that the Legacy package seems a lot racier than the regular Daytona. This is some great action at these just 9 cars here at Daytona.
Yeah, it's been a good race so far. We've seen a lot of battles for the lead and lead changes.
Top 3, Cody Harger, Alan DeFries, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. Mark Truxell looking underneath the 16. Still doesn't have any help. That high line's going to be the place to be.
Yeah, I mean, you seen the HBR cars of David Bradford and Brian Rose. They went from battling for the lead to the back of the pack just by everybody staying high.
I mean, only 3 laps to go in this first stage, but it almost looks like guys are starting to settle in to see, okay, well, this is where we're going to end up. Let's not wad the cars up again. You're going to make me a liar here going into 3, though. Let's see.
David Bradford, Brian Rose going low.
Great runs these guys can get. It's really awesome to see.
I would say with the money on the line, I think everybody's just trying to figure out what's working. I think we're going to see a battle for that lead.
We got money on the line here and at the end of the race, so it's not right around time. These guys want to get up there and battle. popping in the chat. Melinda checking in. Jason Spear wants some Hateful Chicken. Yeah, you need a Bud Light Platinum as well. Don Harger, I believe some sandbagging is happening. Yeah, I think you might be right. Lap and a half to go here at Daytona. The Bud Light Platinum Clash. Cody Harger's your leader. Alan DeFries second. Bobby Hamilton Jr. is third. Followed by Justin Napier and David Bradford rounding out the top 5. White flag. Bobby Jr. made the move to look to the inside. Didn't really get any help.
Nobody did.
Is Thomas McMullen missing a hood?
I think it's his paint scheme.
It almost looks like he's missing a hood. Oh, trouble! Alan DeFries, and it looked like Justin Napier getting wrapped up in an incident on the final lap of the stage.
See if Cody can hold up. I think he's going to get
Gonna need a huge run. I don't know. Ryan Rose trying, looking to the outside. Not enough. Cody Harger wins stage 1. So let's see how they do this here. I think they've got this set up as heats. Yes, they do. All right, so this is going to be stage 2 of the Bud Light Platinum Clash. Field will be inverted, so the starting lineup appears to be, I don't think Colt was in this, Justin Napier, Mark Truxell, Alan DeFries, Bobby Hamilton Jr., David Bradford, Thomas McMullen, Will Hewitt, and then Brian Rose and Cody Harger at the back of the pack. Going to have to work their way back front to win the Clash, presented by Bud Light Platinum.
Yeah, I went back and looked at that last lap, and it looked like Justin just didn't square up on Allen and tried to bump draft him and got him in the wall.
Well, that's what it's going to take. But again, here's the race results. As you see on your screen, it's listed as Heat 1. That's stage 1. Cody Harger, Brian Rose, Will Hewitt, Thomas McMullen 4th, David Bradford 5th, Bobby Hamilton Jr. was 6th, Alan DeFries was 7th, Mark Truxell 8th, Justin Napier was 9th, and though Jeff and Colt are listed, they were not in the event.
So we got 10 laps to the big money payout.
10 laps to decide it. Justin Napier starting up front in that number 54 Hateful Chicken livery. That's a good looking paint. I don't know who he had do that, but it looks excellent. Trying to get a better angle of it.
They are some good looking cars out here, like I said earlier. I mean, these cars are looking good.
This is the view back from the pace car, looking back at Justin, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Thomas McMullen, and Alan DeFries.
We're going to have to get David to get him a paint scheme on there.
Yeah, I asked him if he had one. He's like, nope. I'm like, man, if I'd have known, I'd have helped him out.
Yeah, it looks like he just shot some primer on it and said, let's go racing.
As long as she's ready under the hood, we're good to go.
I gotta say, I think I like Alan DeFries' car the best.
Yeah,
as far as paint scheme.
Yeah, Alan's always got a flashy looking. either NRA scheme or Smith & Wesson, but pace car is in. We're going back to green. Stage 2 here in the Bud Light Platinum Clash. Bobby Hamilton Jr. off and running early to the outside is Justin Napier in the 54 machine. So head into 1.
Looks like that high side's a strong side right now again.
And it looks like we're going to bring Colt Ainsley up into the broadcast booth. Let's see here. Colt Ainsley, it's Steve and Eric in the booth. Are you going to join us?
Yeah, sure. I keep getting kicked out of the room.
Well, I got you in there now. I brought you in.
Awesome.
Well, welcome, Colt. I thought you were eligible for this. Why aren't you out there with the guys?
Because my PC is 2 potatoes wired together with a copper wire. So, it didn't want to run, and it crashed loading into their session. So, figured I'd come up here and do something productive.
Well, I appreciate you joining us, that's for sure. Did you get any time on the track at all, or no?
Nah, nothing. It's all good, though. It's par for the course of my last season, so...
Joining the action back out front, David Bradford is retaking the lead. Alan DeFries working his way around the 33 of Will Hewitt. At least he's going to try. Doesn't have any helpers. The 66 is pushing the 33 along with Brian Rose. They've got a freight train on the outside. Is it going to make its way by? Nope. Brian Rose ducks out of line underneath the 71.
Looks like Bobby Jr. scraped the wall. Hopefully that didn't do any damage to him.
Top 3 into 3 and 4. David Bradford, Will Hewitt, and Cody Harder. 2 to 3 car lengths back to 4th place. Alan DeFries and Bobby Hamilton Jr. Not for long, though. That group has caught the 3 leaders, and we have 7 car draft up at the front. Not sure what happened with Brian Rose. It seems that he's starting to lose the draft.
He may have just got out of line. It looks like he's coming back now.
66 of Cody Harger picks up Brian Rose. They're working together, moving their way back to catch that lead draft.
If you get on that low side, I mean, if you don't have a good push, you just go to the back so quick.
It definitely seems like that high line that everybody was talking about pre-race is kind of being the preferred place to be.
Well, the more time you can spend in the throttle, the less of a run the car behind you can get, just like we see with the real cars. Once you get up there and get single file, it's really hard to build up any sort of a run to go to the bottom. You see Cody trying to go to the bottom there, but just nothing for him.
Seems that high line is a little bit smoother as well. Does that make a big difference?
I think it does. This track is extremely bumpy, especially down along the bottom. I mean, I'm hearing complaints about the guys hitting the splitter and dragging all along the bottom, so we'll see Bobby making a move to the bottom.
I've seen these guys, if they can build the run on the high side and get help when they dive low, they've made some successful passes in doing that, but it's difficult to pull off. Will Hewitt all over the back bumper on the 46.
I think right now these guys are just trying to buy a little bit of time to set up where they want to be with these last couple of laps. Will taking a look.
No help.
Nobody
Does he
goes
have
with
enough
him.
of a run, though? No, it does not look like it. He's going to be in trouble.
You better find an opening and squeeze into it.
Tad or throw out the anchor because you're going to the back.
Cody's thinking about it forming a third lane in the middle. They're still going to hang the 33 out. Looks like he'll latch onto the back of that group. You can just see these cars hopping up and down through there. This is so much different.
Oh,
than
66
gets
Cody
around.
Harger gets into Bobby Hamilton Jr. That's going to bring out a yellow. Let's go back and take a look. The Hateful Chicken instant replay. We joined it as Bobby's already around. Does make contact with that inside wall. Let's back it up and see exactly what happened with Cody Harger and Bobby Hamilton Jr.
It looks like Cody was trying to squeeze up into the top lane and just wasn't quite clear.
Yeah, from the blimp cam, it almost looked like he lost the nose.
And just nowhere for Bobby to go. Not a huge impact. Well, he hit twice, but I think he'll be okay. Maybe just a little bit of repair time in the pits, and he'll be all right. Former teammates there with TCB. Now they're on independent teams, being the admins. So that'll be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, well, with that even said, it is the Clash. I mean, you got a little bit of teamwork going on here, but at the end of the night, it's all about who can be number one. Eric, what's your stance on this as far as strategy goes? You got 4 laps to go when we go back green because the caution laps don't count. You know, in our case, it's 2 guys out in HBR land working together. But I mean, do you try to work with anybody you can, or you try and wait for your teammate?
I think you're going to just have to try to work with anybody to get by the leader on the high side. I mean, it's going to take a good run of cars on the low side to pass that high group. We've seen it done a couple times, but not many tonight.
Who trusts who at this point? Because you're going to need a buddy to go with you. And right now, all the teams are split up. All the drivers are split up. Obviously, my teammate's sitting up there in second, and I'm not there to help him. So who do you go with? I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's the Clash. You've got to go for the win. You can't just sit there and not do anything.
Yeah, certainly no points racing happening in this event for sure. But you're absolutely right. If you don't have help, you're going to be like the 33 and just drop straight to the back. You got to have a partner, or at least a partner, if not 2 or 3.
And what will these guys do to win the Clash? I mean, like we said, no points. It's just money.
I don't think we're done seeing yellows.
I agree. Will the 33 move the 46? Will the 71 move the 33? Will somebody just get flat taken out? I mean, we've seen that before in points races. So now that we've got money on the line and nothing long term, what do we see there?
I know Will and Alan's raced together a lot, so, you know, I know they're not on the same team, but, you know, could they be planning something to get around, you know, David Bradford with HBR now?
Yeah, Colt, you were talking about trust. I mean, that really does have a lot to do with it. I mean, even myself, when I'm out there, it may not be a guy that I'm on the same team with, but it may be somebody that I've raced well with in the past. Maybe not you, because I've got a tendency of dumping you, but...
Yeah, when I'm pushing you, things go a lot better.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. You got to trust who's helping you, and even if you do, it doesn't mean they're going to stay tucked in, because like you said, it's the Clash. You want to win this thing.
Well, and some of the best plate racers we've got, they're not even locked up. I mean, we've got David, who's just a machine anywhere he goes, leading. You got Will Hewitt, who's won a Daytona race, sitting second. They're the only ones really lined up. Alan's won a couple of races, and he's a pretty good plate racer, always there at the end. But the guys you usually look for at a plate race are way in the back. Cody and Bobby, one just got spun, and the other is taking an EOL for the wreck. So all of these guys are good plate racers, but some of them it just comes natural too. And I'm really curious here how this is going to go, especially with David taking the bottom.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting. And just to keep in mind, I don't know if we even mentioned this earlier, this field is comprised of former winners and former pole sitters only. So these are all guys that have had success in this league. Everybody here knows how to win. They know how to get it done. So it's certainly going to be fun to watch.
Does Justin try to push the 33 out and hang the 46 on the bottom?
I think you're going to hang anybody on the bottom that you can because, I mean, it's easy to do. If
I thought it was a surprise move for David to take the bottom.
I'd agree. I thought maybe the first lap or two is better on the bottom. Here we go, green flag.
Top four: David Bradford, Will Hewitt, Alan DeFries, Justin Napier.
Everybody pretty even all the way through the field. Everything looked almost identical. Now they're coming up on the push. Just see how much these cars are hopping around.
David Bradford leads them into turn 3, not by much. Two distinct lines on top, on the high side and the low side.
Coming to the white flag. Does anything happen here? Will Hewitt takes the lead.
Coming to 2 to go.
Oh, sorry, 2 to go.
I mean, that low side's just dropping back right now. I was surprised David done that.
Just don't have the numbers on the low side. He's not going to be able to mount a charge back to the front unless something big happens up front.
Oh,
or he tucks back in.
His nose out. Justin. Oh, Cody at the bottom. David, Thomas, all 3 line up. Will their momentum hold? Remember, these guys are having to feather the throttle ever so slightly on the bottom, so the guys up top are able to hold that momentum.
A lot of dancing up in that front two. Will Hewitt and Justin Napier wiggling around right by each other.
Very squirrely.
Looking back just a little bit. Could he be dragging the brakes, trying to get a run on the 33? Ryan to the bottom, big move.
Last lap. Next flag ends it, I believe.
That 33 is about to get really wide.
Yeah, he's looking in his mirror the whole way down the back straightaway.
16 in the wall. Justin's going to make a move right out of 4 if he's going to get to him. He's got to push him as hard as he can through 3 and 4. And then just find an open lane. Whichever way he goes.
Justin Napier to the bottom, inside Will Hewitt. A little bit of help from the 16, Bobby Hamilton Jr. No help for the 33. To the line, Justin Napier wins it. Bobby Hamilton Jr. second, too close to call for third, but it doesn't matter because first pays the money and nobody else.
That was a textbook move by the 54 right there.
That's a great race by him. I think that's the only lap he led out of the 20 laps, but that's the only one that mattered.
Quite literally tonight, points, or the last lap's the only one that pays.
Will Hewitt giving the 54 a bit of a push, either an attaboy or a WTF.
I know Justin's excited about this one. He almost won one of our first Daytona races in the SCAR series. I'm sure he's going to enjoy burning this one down. And he's going to get a check to go with it.
And he's getting a victory with the new sponsor on the car, the Hateful Chicken in Victory Lane.
That's a great race by him.
You know, Eric, we were talking earlier about how it really requires practice and time and dedication to be good at this. And Justin has really put in the time and effort as of late back into racing, and it's certainly paying off for him.
He's really matured as a driver too, making a lot smarter moves, a lot more refined. and just less reckless moves just in the past couple of seasons. He's really come into his own, and I think that win at Bristol, when he put his head down and went out there and won that race, I think that was such a confidence booster. He's going to be a threat this season to win a few races.
Yeah, I think when I first started racing with him, that's when Staggard was doing the broadcast and he was broadcasting and driving. So I think that had a lot to do with maybe not the finishes he wanted. And ever since he's kind of went to just racing, I think he's really stepped it up.
Well, we've got Justin Napier in the holding room here, so we'll pull him up for a quick talk, our winner. Justin Napier, it's Steve Colt and Eric Dotson in the HBR booth. Do you have us?
How's it going?
How's it going for you? It's going great for us. I think you're doing a little better.
Man, I tell you what, that's a great way to open the season up with a new sponsor. I got Hateful Chicken on the car here tonight, and GFS and Tennessee Speed Sport here, and it's man, it's an ego boost right there to win a clash.
Well, you certainly look like a veteran out there with that last-minute move. I think it started in 3 and pulled it off coming off of 4. Tell us how you did it.
Well, honestly, I totally expected to wreck, and when we didn't wreck, I was like, oh my gosh, I got something here, and looked like Will had a little bit more run on the outside, and sure enough, here comes Bobby Hampton Jr. of all people, and comes up there and pushes me to the win, and so if it wasn't for Bobby Jr., I never would have got that. I think that outside would have prevailed.
Teammates, at least as far as sponsors are concerned, certainly a benefit. Did you have anybody else out there you were working with tonight or this afternoon?
Man, the race was so short. It was hard to find people to work with, and I really never had any thoughts in my mind. Hey, I'm going to work with him. I'm going to work with him, and I think everybody else was kind of on the same level. A lot of people got left in the dry on the bottom. I think I did it 3 or 4 times. I think everybody probably did it 3 or 4 times, and it's crazy how much can happen in 10 laps.
So I was talking to Eric and Colt about at least this track and this legacy layout and how that high line is preferred. Is it a matter of just momentum? Is it smoother? Is the bottom just too rough to try and run in? I mean, what was your opinion on what you saw out there?
I don't really have a good answer for you, other than everybody was preferring the top line. I'm sure if you had more people on the bottom, it could probably maintain, but there was just no overtaking down there. I don't know if it was just an RPM thing where you're dogging down the car in the corners, or if I don't really have a good answer for you, other than that's just how the race is going to go. You see the flow of the race, and then you kind of have to figure out how to make that flow work for you.
Now, I think you did make that final pass on the bottom, didn't you?
Yeah, well, the stars aligned there, and so me and Will kind of got a little further out from the pack. I'd say about 2 or 3 car lengths, and then I saw that nobody was an immediate attention to Will on the top side as soon as I went to the bottom. So I knew when I shot to the bottom that Will was going to lose some momentum. Plus, I got a little bit of a side draft to help me out, and but like I said, somebody was there by the end of turn 4, so had Bobby Jr. not came there on the bottom line, then I never would have had the extra momentum I needed.
Well, congratulations for certain. Brings home the paycheck. Eric, do you have anything for Justin?
Man, great race. Congratulations. You might want to buy Bobby a cheeseburger. He definitely helps you, but man, you put yourself in position and great race.
Yeah, definitely over to Bobby on this one here, and so much cooler that he's another Hateful Chicken car, so hopefully we see a little bit more teamwork throughout the year between me and Bobby, and bring the Hateful Chicken 1-2 again in multiple races this year.
Colt, you're still here. Do you have anything for our winner, Justin Napier?
I'd just like to tell him good job. You've really come into your own as a racer, so it's cool to see you win tonight. You got to bring home the check. I was watching the chess match play out, and kind of down the backstretch, I saw I think what you were gonna do, and you played it out perfectly. So good job on the win.
Yeah, I hate that for you, Colt, that you weren't able to get it loaded up. That really sucks. I really wanted to see how you were going to do in these clashes. With your aggression and patience at the same time, I felt like you would have been a real contender in this situation.
Oh, don't worry, you'll see all too much of me next Tuesday.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, once again, congratulations, Justin. First win of the season, albeit not for points, but it's the Clash, it's Daytona, and I'm sure it's a sign of things to come. Maybe we'll see things next week go well for you as well.
I really appreciate it. I hope all the hateful chicken people are watching, and and hey guys, this is a sign. You guys are on the card. I'm gonna keep bringing it to the front.
All right, Justin. Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck in qualifying. Well, that was our winner, Justin Napier of the Bud Light Platinum Clash. Like we said, qualifying's coming up next. We're going to take a short break, so don't go far. But now's an opportunity to grab yourself something to eat, maybe a Bud Light Platinum from the Hateful Chicken, and we'll be back shortly. All right, and welcome back to Daytona International Speedway for qualifying for the Daytona 250. A real short 10-15 minute practice here, and then we'll get to single car qualifying. Joined in the booth still with Eric Dotson, who is here usually for our Tuesday Cup races, and SCAR driver Colt Ainsley is also joining us until he has his opportunity to get out and qualify himself. How you doing, guys?
Good, Steve. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Just getting out on track, doing some test laps before we go out and run all of our qualifying runs.
So, Cole, I know you didn't get to run in the Clash, but do you think this is going to mess any of the drivers up going from the Legacy Daytona to this Daytona, or you think they can just snap right back in?
I think they'll be able to just snap right back in. I mean, all you've really got to do with the qualifying is just keep the wheel as straight as you possibly can. And it's just a whole different ball game running in the draft in the bumpy track versus running by yourself on the smooth track.
Fast time so far is Brian Rose in the 89 Popple machine at a 48.26. Bobby Hamilton Jr. about 0.07 of a second off that.
The biggest keys here are keep your steering ratio, making sure you get the biggest steering ratio you can, keep the wheel straight, and not hitting the apron, because that will scrub off speed. As I've hit the apron probably 3 or 4 times just this lap, and you'll be able to see it once my time goes up on the chart.
See Will Hewitt going out to making a mock run. Will Hewitt out of Mayfield, New York.
Is that close to you, Steve?
I wouldn't call it close, but 4 hours probably. 4 or 5 hours. Got Jason Spear heading out on the track. You'll see in watching this session, obviously we got a few minutes of practice to run here and then qualifying, but you won't see any drafting because that's really unimportant right now.
Yeah, everybody's just trying to see what they can get on that, 2 laps, quickest time. I think some of these guys haven't hit the track because, they don't want other drivers seeing their line, and they're holding it. I know our buddy Vincent Short's like that. He don't like to give up his strategy.
Yeah, Vince actually does qualify pretty well at these super speedways too.
Yeah, you never see him practice it though. The only time you see his qualifying lap is when it's qualifying time. Looks like we've had 6 drivers so far turn a timed lap with, Brian Rose being the fastest, Bobby Jr.'s second fastest, and Colt Ansley's third fastest.
With only about 4 minutes left to go, these guys are either going to head out to the track and give it a mock run soon, or they're just going to leave it alone. And you've heard the real drivers say that anybody can drive these cars around Daytona outside of the draft, but I don't know, some guys have proven that there's some technique to it to put the car up front.
I know we got some guys in here that wasn't at the Clash, so I'm sure they done some laps on their own and got a little bit of feel for the track. But I couldn't imagine just coming in here cold and not having any laps and trying to qualify and get the pole.
Looks like we got old Chris Johnson in here tonight, too. I haven't seen Chris in a while. He's been pretty busy.
It looks like we got quite a few turned out here for qualifying. What? I'm counting 15 for qualifying here.
Yeah, it looks about 15.
Yeah, I know the Carson Conway couldn't make it, and Vincent Short couldn't make it, so I'm sure they're going to have to come up with a game plan, knowing they're going to start at the back.
And I'm back. Sorry, I had to disappear. We were doing a garbage meeting.
Looks like Justin Napier's getting on the track for the first time after winning the Clash race.
That is the truth. Our Bud Light Platinum winner, Justin Napier, getting a couple of laps in here before the close of the session.
That Hateful Chicken car is a pretty car, though.
That it is.
Yeah, that came out pretty nice.
Yeah, that black, red, and yellow looks good with each other.
I'll have to see what's going on with Jeff's paint. I actually did a paint for Jeff, and it's loading out of the car wrong, so I got to figure that out for him before next week.
Is it also the Hateful Chicken?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're going to have 3 Hateful Chicken cars.
I believe so.
I can't wait to go try that place out.
Tell you, if I ever get down south again, I'm going to have to make a stop.
We need to just have a SCAR meeting at the Hateful Chicken.
There you
Everybody.
go. Now we're thinking.
I feel like that's a very bad idea, but a good idea at the same time.
It's an excellent idea. Start off with a bucket of platinums, we'll be good to go. Old buddy Chris Johnson making his way onto the racing surface.
Good to see him back.
His car looks good. That white and black and green. I feel like that's always his colors.
Yeah, color-wise, I
OCR
think
sticker
so.
looks pretty good too.
That's the session. Cars just disappear when it ends.
So Chris is actually going to be a teammate of yours this season, Colt.
That he is.
Good teammate to have, that's for sure.
Yeah, Chris.
He's a really good, smooth driver. Really enjoy racing around him.
Now, is Chris dedicated to the whole season, or just kind of when he's available, or what?
Right now, it's whenever he's available, but he also said he's going to try to be here all season. So.
Oh, excellent.
I know Chris helped me a lot whenever I first started.
We actually looked at Chris to bring him into HBR at one point, but then he got busy with work, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, there
Is there
for a
anybody you
while, I
haven't
think he
approached?
was
Take two.
I feel like Chris was kind of unofficial member there for a while. I mean, because he was really helping us out a lot, you know, with the steering ratio and working on tire wear, brake bias. He spent a lot of time with me and Brian, you know, at first, and I always called him an unofficial member.
I was calling him an HBR associate,
Oh, that works too.
kind of like the mob. Well, we got Jesse Bobo. Is that his name?
I
Bobo.
believe that's correct.
Okay. He is on track. He's our first to go out and qualify in the number 7 machine.
It's
Chevy
Mountain Dew,
Camaro.
ain't it?
Mount and Dew. I think Jesse's one of the newer recruits. And listening to his car, it sounds like that thing's got a miss in it.
Yeah, he might need to pull that thing back down and check the head gaskets because something doesn't sound right.
So it looks like he is actually on a team by himself. One-man show right here.
Well, he takes the green flag for his warm-up lap, and you'll notice tonight, folks, whenever you're watching these qualifying laps, the first lap they always go up to the wall. And Eric, you can attest to this. What are they doing up there?
Trying to get their speed built up more and trying to not to get out of the throttle and get a better run. That's what I always done.
Yeah, every little bit of momentum you can build on these tracks is key. Keeping the wheels straight, running up high to try to wind the car up. It's really a minuscule amount, but we play a game of thousandths of seconds here, so every thousandth counts, and you'll see that tonight.
You'll see it for sure in the final results of qualifying. Everybody's going to be super close in the timesheet.
Yeah, I think he'll drop down here like he's doing, and you know, it's just who can build that first lap up the best and keep the momentum that second lap.
Lap 1 for Jesse was a 48.76. Let's see if he's going to improve here on lap 2. I can imagine he will, just given the line change.
Steve, you need to get you instead of a swear jar, we need a jar for every time somebody clips the apron tonight, because that's going to be the key. Everybody's going to be hugging right along that double yellow line, trying to stay on the bottom. Somebody's going to hit it and scrub off a ton of time.
Yeah, it's going to kill their lap. Lap 2 for Jesse's a 48.32. Put some provisional pole, but he's the only guy out there. So enjoy it while it lasts. Maybe it will, maybe it won't.
So it looks like Chris Johnson will be our next qualifier.
Yeah, and back to what we were talking about with Chris. He's been a really good racer to run around with. I always think back to the ARCA race in Texas, I believe 2 seasons ago, and he was hounding me that entire race, just tracking me down the whole time, and I couldn't seem to get away from him. He did really good that run. I can't wait to see what he does this season for Outcast Racing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys have a good race team over there, and you know, you all definitely going to be in contention for the team championship.
First lap for Chris Johnson, a 48.77.
The two qualifiers we've had so far, neither one of them made a practice time. So I'm just anxious to see how they compare to the guys who actually got out there and ran a couple laps.
Well, I mean, they didn't run an official practice, but like you were saying, they may have been in a session by themselves, at least just working on those single car runs. A lot of times you can get a draft and not realize it, and all of a sudden you're faster than you should be, and then you wonder what happened.
looks like Chris is a little bit faster.
Yeah, lap 2 for Chris Johnson bumps Bobo off P1. Chris ran a 48.32 on his second lap.
3/1000ths of a second. Already we're seeing that game of thousands.
Oh, yeah. Next out is Brian Rose in the Holler Boys Racing number 89 Popple machine.
Good looking car, all white with the black outline.
I
Thank you.
painted that for him. Thank you, Colt.
You did not. I feel that.
Trying to get him fired up a little bit. He don't like anybody taking his credit on his paints.
Yeah, well, I'm not that great at them, but I make it work.
I think it looks good.
First time lap for Brian Rose. Takes the green flag. Looks like he's down on that bottom line already.
I was about to say, he immediately goes to the bottom. See how his time is reflected. He also was one of the fastest, if not the fastest car in practice by a good bit, so he must know something we don't.
You might have been talking to Vince.
Vince actually just connected, so I think he's going to be able to make a qualifying run.
Yeah, I saw he was low on the pick board as far as his draw going out into qualify, so that worked out for him. At least he got back in time to do that. It's good to see.
Cole, I know, you'll be qualifying here in a minute. Have you noticed where if you drop low the first lap, normally
Brian
your
Rose,
first lap
P1.
is faster?
I have noticed it. I mean, watching these lap times being up in the 7s, that was about right for my first lap. And then once I dropped down to the bottom, it was down into the 3s at least. So, there is a difference. It's just you can gain more as you keep the wheel smooth and straight. But and some people are better at it than others. I myself am not very good at it.
I mean, it always seems when I've practiced or qualified, if I drop down like Brian did, my first lap's always quicker than the second, rather than what we've seen out of the first two guys. Which we'll see how Brian's second lap is here.
Lap 2 for Brian Rose, not quite as fast, just like you said, Eric, 48.34, but still first lap good enough for P1.
I might need to be taking some notes then.
Next on the track, Jason Spear, taking the green.
It's a good looking Toyota with that blue on it.
He's also got the 3D style numbers that kind of pop. Those are nice as well. Almost like a football jersey.
Yeah, I was trying to. Those numbers definitely look different.
Jason's also, like to give a little bit about him. He's a very underrated driver in this series. He always seems like he's kind of hanging around the back, but towards the end of the race, here he comes, just kind of steaming through the field, and he's always there at the end of the races. Granted, the times he's not, it's usually because I've wrecked him out, but when I don't destroy the 83 car, he's always there at the end. So Jason's really one of the most underrated drivers we've got.
It looks like he's going to do the same thing Brian done, going low the first lap. So we'll see how that works out for him. And Jason is actually on the Spear Brothers Racing with, I think Mickey's his brother. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, Mickey's his brother.
Eric, this is actually Jason's second lap. First lap was a 48.76 in the high lane. That's why he clocked in the fourth spot. Let's see what he runs here on lap 2.
Seems to, interesting move by the 83 here to go to the bottom, below the line. And it picks up time, 48.308.
Not quite enough to knock off the 89, but he's up to second, half a tenth off pole.
It's like our Clash winners out there now.
takes the green flag to start his first lap, he's going to kind of sit in the middle, it looks like. He's going to kind of not go high like everybody else is, but not go straight to the bottom like Ryan did.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how this works. I've never seen anyone qualify like that, kind of just in the middle, not high or low.
Now this is just out of curiosity on my part, Brian. iRacing has added the cushion of air up next to the wall. Do you think these drivers getting up right next to the wall is creating a bubble of air that's slowing the car down slightly? Maybe that's why Justin's going to the middle lane like he is?
That is a very good reason for that to happen. I never thought of that. That's a good observation.
I mean, I noticed it a little bit back in the day, even with the ARCA car. If you got too close to that wall in that opening lap, it definitely dragged you back just ever so slightly. Usually if you straddle that stripe line on the high side, well, I'm thinking Talladega, but yeah, I mean, if you're not right up against the wall, it does seem to help a little bit.
See where Justin ends up at TCB Motorsports. That's his race team for this season.
Justin dropping down to the apron for the start finish as well. Lap 2 of 48.35. Must have missed the setup on that one. Justin clocking in 5th.
Looks like Cody Harger is now out here, so we'll see his strategy. I'm liking the new paint schemes these guys have.
Yeah, a lot of them look very, very sharp this season.
Number 66 Plasmine Technologies, Toyota Camry XSE maybe. You see, Cody didn't take that extreme high line either.
Yeah, Cody was a little bit higher, but not, like you said, not extremely high.
Lap 1 for Cody Harger of 48.72. Definitely a throwaway lap. See if he can really pick the pace up here on lap 2.
He done a great job of hugging that bottom
Yeah.
through 3 and 4.
Came up about a tire width, but definitely did not drop too low, which is what you're worried about. Cody Harger lap 2 of 48.37. That's 6th quick on the board. About a 10th off pole. And our booth mate Colt Ainsley is hitting the track for his qualifying attempt.
So it looks like lap 1, he's going to run the high line here, or the higher line.
Lap 1 for Colt Ainsley in the books of 48.66. 7th quick overall. Let's see if he can get a big improvement here on lap 2. Pole time right now still the 89 of Brian Rose at 48.25 seconds.
That is a very smooth 1 and 2 for Cole. Car didn't bobble at all.
Lap 2 for Colt, 48.384 seconds. That is 7th quick. Does not improve his position, but you see that finishing order, or at least those time lists up there in the qualifying so far. They are very tight. Half a tenth, half a tenth, half a tenth, a tenth. Very close times. Next out, we've got Thomas McMullen in the 02 Murder Creek Distillers machine.
He's going low right from the start.
Well, that did not go as planned.
So, Cole, do you think, I know the last 3 people we have had qualifying, have qualified kind of where they took off in the grid. So do you think that being out there earlier is an advantage to qualify?
I don't think it necessarily was an advantage. I think it's just who can keep the wheel straight, who knows the right line. I tried something new, kind of a last-minute audible on my lap to try to shave off some time, and unfortunately it didn't work. So I was really hoping to have a better starting spot, or not really the starting spot. I know we're going to shuffle around a lot. I was mainly just hoping for a good pit box, but now I'm sitting right in the middle of the field, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, as I said, that Thomas broke that little streak we had going.
Thomas McMullen getting ready to check in for lap 2. Is it better than a 34? It's another 34. Consistent lap times for the 02 machine, but still 5th on the board. Next out, we got the 5 of Mark Truxell.
Mark's a winner in this race in the past. I believe he won our very first race here. Also, Mark's in his very classic and almost iconic paint scheme now. He has run this same paint scheme pretty much every race, except for a few variants he ran for some special sponsorships.
Yeah, it's a good looking car. I know it looks good, and looks like he's running a little bit higher than a lot of people. Looks like he's going to do it maybe first lap.
48.806 for Mark Truxell on lap 1.
Mark coming around, finish his second lap, see what he's got.
.48.404 for Mark Truxell. That's still 9th spot for the 5 machine.
Yeah, I know he went into 1 on lap 2, a lot higher than anybody we've seen. So I didn't know if we were going to see something different here that was going to be faster. I think he lost track of his laps.
Yeah, he has. He's working his way to pit road now. I also noticed that he tried to get really low on the apron there, and he kind of straddled it. When he did, I think it cost him at least maybe 100th or 2.
So Alan DeFries on his first lap did catch the apron ever so slightly coming off turn 2. Lap 1 for Alan DeFries, 48.37. It's a pretty good first lap.
little bobble could have hurt him right there coming out 4.
He's taking the apron through the trial. Well, let's see if it helps. Lap 2 is a 41, not quite as quick as lap 1. So Alan DeFries currently 8th spot.
I'm looking at these times, and I think Jason Spear knows something we don't, because he's the only one who's made that cut to the apron work. I think everyone else, you have to turn the wheel so sharp that it hurts your momentum coming out of the corner or going through the tri over there.
Got Jeff Napier in the Hateful Chicken Chevrolet. He's got to fix that wrap before next week, but we'll get that straightened out for him.
I'll help you if you need me to, Steve.
Well, I think I know what happened, because initially when I did the paint, I did it on the old Cup car instead of the next gen, and then I updated it. But unless he went in and re-raced, got in the car in trading paints, it's not going to update for him. He's got to do it. We'll get it straightened out though next week for sure. Lap 1 for Jeff Napier, 3rd quick with a 48.32. Good lap for the 40 machine.
He also ran on the bottom that whole first lap, but he made a big jump when he came through the tri-oval getting back off the flat. He looked like he kind of hopped the car back up onto the banking, so I feel like that's going to hurt his second time.
I was going to say the same thing, Cole. I feel like he sold it all lap 1, and this lap 2 is not going to be as good.
Looks like he clips the apron a couple times too. That's going to really scrub his speed.
Looks like him and Chris Johnson's actually got the same identical speed. Or time, I mean.
Lap 2 for Jeff Napier, 48.47. So as of now, Jeff's going to be in the 3rd spot. Next up on the track will be Will Hewitt. At 33 Snyder's entry.
So I know Will's your teammate, Cole. Have you all talked about qualifying strategy? Or I know you went out before him. Did you say, hey man, this is what worked, this is what I felt didn't?
No, not really. Like I said, I'm not too worried about qualifying in terms of track position. It's mainly just pit selection, and even that is kind of mitigated. So I'm just kind of letting him do his thing, and we'll take what we learn here to go to the next super speedways. So we'll see what he's got here. Also, big announcements coming for this 33. It's going to have a shiny new wrap in pretty soon. I'm not sure when, but it's going to look sharp.
You have an official sponsor announcement to make, or not quite yet?
Well, y'all didn't talk about my paint scheme, but we got Rick Matek this season as a sponsor. Really cool Amazon for sim racing, and they'll be on the 86 car. And then we have Fiverr, the freelance service on the 33 car this season. So we're really excited about that. And
Very
hopefully
nice.
more to come to fill in the 2 other cars we've got.
You just beat me to it. I did see the Rick Motec on the side of that car, and I've purchased from them myself in the past. I was going to ask you about it, but congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Well, and after we get Will's time here, I got a funny story regarding them.
Will Hewitt checks in 48.36, 8th quick on the board.
He did something better than me.
Here is a legitimate threat for pole. Vincent Short in that 15 machine. Brand new livery on that car. It's Air Force sponsorship. Vincent, a veteran himself.
Always a good qualifier, too, at the super speedways.
Good super speedway racer too. He always is up there in the front. Can be a little overly aggressive at times, put himself in situations he shouldn't be in sometimes, but he's also really good. He's won himself races that way, so he does what he needs to do, and it's worked out for him really well.
I know in the IROC series that we just finished up, I think Vince got the pole at every super speedway we went to.
Right now, Brian Rose is sitting pretty though. He is almost half a tenth faster than the rest of the field. So see what the 15's got here.
It's short on lap 1. 7th quick with a 48.33. Not everybody's been able to improve on that lap 2. Let's see if he can do it.
Car kind of bobbling just a touch on the bottom there.
I know Vince, and you know, with him knowing that we're broadcasting his lap, it would not surprise me if he holds back his little secret he's got for these super speedways.
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, I was at HBR, his teammate, and he wouldn't tell me.
Here it comes to the line. Oh, close.
Just barely. 48.308. Vincent Short goes to the front row, but not P1. Currently in HBR front row is Brian Rose P1 and Vincent Short in second.
And identical lap times with Vincent Short and Jason Spear. And not only are, like I said earlier, we're playing a game of thousandths of a second, we are playing a game with 10 thousandths of a second, because from on our timing screens, we see 3 digits behind that decimal.
Yeah, and they're 308s across
there's
the
a
board.
fourth. There is a 4th digit somewhere we can't see, and that's how much it was for Vince to get that front row.
Yeah, I mean,
And
we've had,
difficult as it is to pass with these cars, that one position is going to be really important.
yeah, and we've had, you know, Vincent and Jason the same time, and Jeff and Chris both with the same time. I mean, you don't see the same time that often like that.
David Bradford to second spot on his first lap. 48.28.
See if he can knock Brian Rose off. I mean, right now it's looking like HBR could be top 2 rows.
David, the only other car besides Brian and I to go into the 2s.
I know they worked together and worked on qualifying this week, so whatever they're doing's working.
Well, that's a dangerous combination. David's a great qualifier at any track. Pair it with another group of great qualifiers as he goes to the apron. See what he's got.
Lap 2 for David Bradford. Still second. He runs the exact same lap time on lap 2 to the 1,000th.
Wow.
Mr. Consistency.
We got David the Machine Bradford.
Yeah, no kidding. Next up, we got Tommy D'Angelo out of Clifton Park, New York, in the 3 machine. Uh-oh. Well, where'd he go? Oh, he's back.
What?
A little bit of blinking issues with Tommy.
Oh, he's gone again.
That's a pretty car.
When you can see it.
Yeah, when you can see it. I got sparks flying and everything down there.
Yeah, so do we. We joke a little bit, but that's something you want to keep in mind for the race next week, because if he's got connection issues, that can be a very dangerous situation trying to avoid that vehicle when he blinks in and out.
Well, I know Tommy's going to have his chance here to try to get on the front row or get on the pole. Let's see what he can do.
I don't know if you guys heard it with Tommy's engine, but it sounded like either he missed a shift out of 4th, because there's 5 gears in this car. Either he missed a shift to 4th, or he tried to downshift back to 4th, maybe see if he could turn some higher revs. And it looks like it hurt his time pretty bad.
Lap 1 for Tommy was a 48.708. Coming to the line for lap 2. Let's see if he can improve. Runs a
Just
39.
barely.
Got a spot out of it, but again, times are real tight here at Daytona. It doesn't take much.
I would say if HBR is going to get knocked out in the front row, this has got to do it.
Season 5 champion Bobby Hamilton Jr. goes out, take his first lap, and he's on the bottom.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. be the fly in the ointment in the HBR top 3.
Well, I was watching him go around 1 and 2. It was just so smooth. The car didn't bobble or move at all.
That's something Bobby's really good at. He loves running big. Well, these cars aren't have steering boxes anymore, but he loves running steering that you just barely touch the wheel in it, or you have to really crank the wheel to get it to turn. So you get to keep it straight. And here he comes for his first lap. Immediately in the top 5.
Lap for Bobby Hamilton Jr. 48.319. Let's see if he can improve on lap 2. Not everybody's been able to do that tonight. Does seem like the guys that took that low line on the first timed lap have been able to improve on that second run, though.
Well, and if Bobby can take this pole position, that will be a message to the rest of us here in the field that Bobby's the first guy in the SCAR series to sweep every championship in a season last season. And if he comes out here and starts on the pole for our biggest race of the year, he's going to be a threat all season long.
Clock's in. We're about to find out. Lap 2,
No.
no. 48.34.
It looked to me like when he dropped to the apron there, he lost a little bit of speed. And I'm wondering if maybe Jason knew something about getting down there on the apron, because he was the only one tonight who really was able to make that work. And everybody else lost a ton of time, myself included.
Well, Jeff was actually fast dropping to the bottom, but I feel like when Jeff come back up, he just lost so much momentum.
I think Jeff would have had a faster second lap had he been able to stay on the flat that whole time and work his way up. But instead, he hit the banking at such a sharp angle, it just kind of hawked the car up, and you see him go almost to the middle lane.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, let's see if we can drag in our pole sitter, Brian Rose. Brian Rose, Steve Colton, Eric in the booth. Do you got us?
Yeah, Team 4, what's going on, guys?
Pole position for the Daytona 250. A great lap. How'd you do it? What's your secret?
Went out there and went fast. Turn left.
Is that all it was?
That's all it was. Just go as fast as you can and turn left. Can't be giving everything away out here, Steve.
Now you sound like Vincent Short.
You better hide that notebook, because I'm going to have some Outcast guys walking through the garage later.
No, I tell you, though, it was a nerve-wracking experience going out one of the first cars and then sitting having to wait till all these guys, knowing the more that comes out, the faster they get. So it was definitely a gut-wrenching experience sitting here having to watch all these times click off.
Well, your closest challenger was HBR teammate David Bradford. Was 0.02 of a second off your time, and then just one spot back was Vincent Short, 0.05, half a tenth off your time. Talk about nail biting.
Yeah, but hey, how about that HBR team? 1, 2, 3 going into the first race of the season, trying to set a statement going forward right here. Definitely trying to, put ourselves in the best position for that team championship. But man, awesome starting on the front row. Hope we can keep it up there next week. But these plate races they're wild. So we seen in the clash. So, just thank Popple for coming on board and everybody at HBR, and we'll go out and try to get them next week.
Well, sounds like you got a plan in place, Brian. We wish you luck next week in the Daytona 250. Is there anyone else you need to thank for helping you get this done this season?
Hey, you gotta, obviously thank everybody down there at the Hateful Chicken. Without them, we wouldn't be putting on a broadcast, be putting on shows. Two Blessings Thrift Shop, Popple, Eric Dotson State Farm, Keep the Beat, and really just all you guys at HBR getting together and practicing and working every week. Man, I wouldn't trade anybody for the world.
Well, congratulations once again, Brian, and good luck next week.
All right, thank you, guys.
Next up, we'll pull Second place, David Bradford into the room. David Bradford, Steve, Colton, Eric in the booth. Do you got us?
Yes, sir. I got you.
2/100ths of a second shy of pole position. Tell us about your run.
Honestly, that's the first time I've ever ran the bottom on the first lap there. I watched Brian do it, and I saw Vince do it, and I was like, well, maybe that's the way to go. And then I was looking at the temperatures and things like that. When Brian went out, it was a little bit hotter, but it seemed like the colder the track got, the slower the guys were getting. So I don't know what's really up with that. It might have been the wind a little bit. It was buffing up and down between 5 and 7 miles an hour. So that might have had a little bit to do with it, but I don't really feel like I could have done anything different on that lap and went any faster. Maybe cut the tri-oval, but I wasn't really sure what it was going to do because, like I said, I never ran the bottom on the first lap before.
Yeah, looking back on it, I don't think Brian Rose cut the tri-oval either, but still checked in that top time.
Yeah, I don't know, man. What can I say? I watched his lap and he ran. I think he ran the perfect lap. He never came off that yellow line. He didn't bog the car none. He did a good job, man. He earned that one for sure.
Well, it's your first season with Holler Boy Racing. You're starting on the front row with teammate to the outside and another teammate starting in third. So it's HBR 1, 2, 3. Congratulations on that, and look forward to seeing the race next week. Is there anybody you have to thank to get you through this season? I see that car was kind of primer gray. Are you looking for sponsorship or?
Oh no, we got the Anheuser-Busch coming back. It'll be the natural light car. I actually just got some photos of it. It'll be nice and wrapped come next Tuesday, and it'll be a good looking car. Thank the guys that are watching, Dad, George, all them that are watching on the broadcast. Thank you guys for putting it on, and of course HBR. You know, I was looking for somewhere to go once the other team disbanded. Found a home there, and luckily we're off to a flying start.
Well, David, congratulations again. Front row start for the new sponsors for next week and this season, and wish you all the best during the race.
Appreciate it, man.
Your front row, second place starting, David Bradford in the number 46 machine. Rolling off with brand new colors next week. Can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, he sent a picture of it, and it definitely looks good. It's going to be a good-looking car. All these guys have good-looking cars out there. I know they're anxious to get it out there and get them running now.
Yeah, it's definitely one thing that I really liked when we switch over to a new season. I was typically running Castle colors all the time, but I always had to switch it up. I got excited about making something different, but it's nice to see the new colors, the new paint schemes, and certainly new sponsors in the fold. Obviously, the Hateful Chicken is new middle of last season, and this will be, I think, a full season for them, so that's awesome to see. We appreciate them being on board.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great season.
Yeah, it's always fun seeing all the new paint schemes right at the start of the season. Weather's nice and cool. We're getting ready to start off a whole new season, and everybody's getting comfortable again because we take a few weeks off. And Eric and I were talking about this under commercial break. If you don't practice, you really do lose your touch in this series. And as competitive as everybody else is here, you've got to stay sharp or you'll fall back. So it's going to be a fun season, and see what we got.
Absolutely, and I think as competitive as everybody is, they push each other to be better. And the core drivers, when we first got involved with SCAR, have all got better. So, I mean, I love it. I can't wait to get the season started. Can't wait to call it. I'm gonna be helping Steve, but mentally taking notes on what you guys are doing out there.
Well, with all that said, we've wrapped up qualifying. We've got a few broadcasts in the works coming up with the new season starting. Of course, we've got the Daytona 250 next Tuesday evening. We should be going live roughly about 8:30 p.m. in the East. But prior to that, we do have the ARCA Series running their event at Daytona, starting, I believe, also at 8:30 in the East. But something new to the fold here in the Superior Class Auto Racing League is we have a road course series. It's the SCAR Sports Car Series. It's the old GT1 machines, the Corvette C6 and Austin Martin DBR9s. We'll be running a fixed setup series, 10 races, not a huge season, but that kicks off this coming Sunday evening. Again, that session starts at about 8 p.m., and Pit Stop TV will be broadcasting that for us. At least that is a tentative broadcast because we did have a schedule change, so we just have to clear it with them, make sure that they can still do it, but that is the plan. If they can't make that, they will have the rest of the season. So no Holler Boy Racing TV for that, but you'll certainly be able to tune in and watch us race. I'm in it, so that's why there's no broadcast for me, because I really just can't do both. I got to pick one of these. So, Eric, you going to be able to make it for that, or are you going to run the road course? You going to at least try for us?
I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I got some things going on, and I'm definitely committed to the Tuesday night broadcast for the Scar Cup. So I'll be here with you every Tuesday. But other than that, we're just gonna have to play it by ear.
Well, keep in mind this. It's a timed session, so you got a 45-minute practice, a 10-minute qualify, and a 45-minute race. So you can tell anybody you need, hey, I'm going to be busy for the next hour and a half or so.
I have some studying to do for
okay.
for some things. So I would love to be iRacing, but I definitely don't want my nose in the book like it's happening.
I hear you. Colt, you're a pretty good road racer yourself. Yeah, I assume you're joining us.
Well, pretty good is not the word I would use, but I enjoy road racing, so I will try my best to be there as often as possible. I really enjoyed going up and down through the gears. It's relaxing more than anything. I'm just going to go out there and have fun.
Well, sounds like a plan. We're going to be at Daytona in the road cars on the road course, and then Monday we got Daytona in the ARCA car, and then Tuesday in the Cup car. So no shortage of action to follow here in the next week or so. Hope you all will join us. And to wrap up qualifying, I'll give you the rundown. Again, it's Brian Rose. He's qualified on pole. David Bradford on the outside, his teammate. Vincent Short, also HBR, starting third. Jason Spear starting fourth. Bobby Hamilton Jr. will be starting fifth. Sixth is Jeff Napier in the number 40 machine. Seventh is Chris Johnson. Eighth will be Jesse Bobo. I really hope that's his last name, because if it's not, I'm going to be, well, we'll just go to ninth position. Thomas McMullen is in the ninth spot. 10th is Justin Napier. 11th is Will Hewitt. 12th is Cody Harger in the number 66. 13th is Alan DeFries. 14th, Colt Ainsley, who was nice enough to join us in the booth this evening. 15th, Tommy D'Angelo, and 16th is Mark Truxell. Now, this is the lineup based on who was able to show up tonight and make a qualifying attempt. There are other drivers that did not make a qualifying attempt. That's fine. They'll just fill out the balance of the field. So just keep that in mind. If you see some unfamiliar names next week, there's definitely more guys that will be running. So with that, that's going to do it for us with HBR TV. Colt Ainsley, Eric Dotson, I'm Steve Singer. We'll see you next week.